I'll have to pull that out and re-roll it on itself again. I'm going to come back in 20 minutes when that's ready to go. So today I'm going to show you how to make the perfect dough for pizza, for little pockets, for pita bread, for whatever you want. I work at a Mediterranean restaurant. I manage a Mediterranean restaurant and make dough all the time, and over 15 years now I've come up with my perfect all-around dough. So let's go over it real quick. I'll show you how I make my dough. Right here I've got 6 cups of flour, and when you measure out flour, you know, scoop the flour. Make sure you scrape it off across the top so you get exact 6 amounts. I also have 4 teaspoons of salt in there. Once you get that in there, just make sure you mix it up. I mean, we're going to put it in the mixer, but just so it doesn't clump together, just to get that salt in there. So then you can just set that aside. Again, 6 cups of flour and 4 teaspoons of salt. So over here I've got a bowl. This is going to be for the yeast. I've got 2 packages of the Flashman's Active Dry Yeast, and I've got 2 teaspoons of sugar here. So first off, we got to get some hot water. It's really important with yeast that the temperature is correct. If you have a little temperature meter, you can rate it. 110 is right where I like it. But I actually run some hot water on my bowl just to get it warmed up, and then we're going to take 2 cups of hot water. Just from experience and time, I know that this water is where it needs to be once it gets up to the hot point. So again, I'll put 2 cups of water in here. Then go ahead and dump your sugar in. Again, 2 teaspoons of sugar. And this is for the yeast to grow. It would also work with salt. I prefer sugar, and I need to put a little sugar in the dough anyway, so I just dissolve it in the water with the yeast. And don't over stir it, because I don't want to cool the temperature of the water. So go ahead and put in both packets of your yeast. Alright, then go ahead and mix that up a little bit. It's really good to try to not let it clump. So I just do some stirring as I go around. If you get any clumps, it's worth your time to break them up, because they'll just stay that way. And you'll get these little dry hard spots in your dough. So that's good. So a warm place for about 20 minutes. I like to stick it in the stove. Minutes. So I'll go get some other things done and come back in 20 minutes when that's ready to go. So timer's beeping. It's been 20 minutes. So we'll go ahead and get the yeast out. Look how beautiful that is. That's the way exactly it should look. Puffed up, foamy on the top. Happy yeast. Bread, that dough is going to be just awesome. So time to share the secret recipe with you, or the secret ingredient with you. So I got the flour and the salt. I'm going to go ahead and add the yeast and the water. And then here's the secret ingredient. An actual cup of yogurt. Yes, 1 cup of yogurt. It makes all the difference in the world. Make sure you scrape that out. Get every little bit of that. Then we're going to mix it up. I got it all set in the mixer. I'm going to put it on low speed. We'll start to get that kneaded up. I go back and forth from fast to low, just depending. If it starts making a lot of, starts knocking it around, I'll turn it back to low. Also brought with me just a little bit of water, because when this starts to come together, you might just have to add a little bit of water. can see it's just starting to bind. Just gonna add just a little bit of water in here. Once it all comes together, you can stop with just a little bit of water at a time. And literally, I've added maybe a tablespoon so far, and you can see it's pulling together. And that'll be it. I'll take this back over to the kitchen, and we'll ball it up. Okay, so I've got a container here so I can use that to proof the dough. And grab your dough out, and if you just roll it out, roll it over itself. Smells awesome. Just wait and see what it looks like in 2 hours. Just folding it in underneath on itself. Just stretching across that top. Once you have a nice little tight ball, get some olive oil. And then you just put it into your container. And you can cover it with a wet cloth. I use wet paper towels, and then let it sit 2 hours. And she'll rise back up in about 2 hours. Here it is. I just took a bunch of paper towels and got them wet with hot water and squeezed them out really well and just layered them on here. It's really important that it's not so wet that it'll drip on your dough, because it will cause a hard dry spot. So again, just let it sit 2 hours. It'll rise up. We're going to punch it down and let it rise another 2 hours. At that time it will be ready to use. However, I like to leave it overnight because it gives it a little bit more of a chewiness and just a better dough. So we'll leave it 2 hours, punch it, rise 2 more hours, and I'll show you how that looks. It'll look beautiful. Look how beautiful that is. Just awesome. It smells wonderful. So just punch down the middle, fold it out, and re-roll it on itself again. Set it back in there and give it another 2 hours. Make sure your towels or whatever you put on top are damp. It's been 2 hours when you hit it and rolled it, another 2 hours. Let's see what this dough ball looks like. I've already said it has raised up. It smells amazing. So we're going to punch it down one more time. Pull it out of there. And now you see how just beautiful it is. This is ready to use right now. I leave it in the fridge overnight just because it gets a little bit more chewiness. When you do make your individual balls, it's important not to grab and rip. You should always just sit there and just pinch out a little ball. That's the right way to do it. It's just better to keep the dough the way it should be. But I'll roll this one last time, cover it with an actual lid, and throw it in the refrigerator, and 24 hours. That's when I like to use it. But again, it is good to use right now. That's the all-around perfect dough.